What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Third and Longhorn. Today, we are previewing number 3 Texas against Kentucky. Final home game of the year. I am joined to my left by Jeremy Hills and to my right by Derrick Johnson and Alex Okafor. And let's get right into it. We're looking to continue our success, obviously, after a big win in Fayetteville last week at Arkansas. We're matching up with Kentucky. The overall series history, Texas leads 1-0, so only the second time they've ever played. The last meeting was in 1951.
I remember that one.
And
that's Fozzy's game winner.
Fozzy had the only touchdown.
Yeah, at the very end of the game.
7-6 victory.
Yeah.
It was a big moment for him in that leather helmet.
He was wearing 46. He was wearing 46. Oh, Fozzy.
Kentucky's coming off of a huge victory last week over Murray State, where they won 48-6. Jamarian Wilcox, their stud running back, had 13 carries for 123 yards and a touchdown. Kentucky comes into this game at 4-6, 1-6 in the SEC, with wins over Southern Miss, Ohio, Ole Miss, and Murray State, and losses to South Carolina, Georgia by 1, Vanderbilt, Florida, Auburn, and Tennessee. Obviously, the thing that stands out there is that victory over Ole Miss. That was a big one. And I think that the biggest storyline we're probably going to face coming into this game is not looking ahead, right? And I don't know if you guys saw the Mike Elko press conference where he slipped up and he's like, we're totally focused on Texas. I mean Auburn.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I mean, listen, man, the truth gonna come out.
Yeah,
right? The truth gonna come out. But for us, it's easy. And what I mean by it being easy, it's gonna be football. You just can't. You can't get ahead of yourself, right? You can't overlook this team. This is a physical team. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to watch them this year. So they're not winning games. They're not great on offense, but the talent. They got some guys that jump off the tape, and they are a physical bunch. Now, unfortunately for them, they've been riddled with injuries. I love watching Deion Walker play. It'll be interesting to find out if he's going to play this week.
Yeah, we're filming this on the Tuesday, by the way, and the report obviously doesn't come out till Thursday, so we can't predict what's going to happen.
We can't predict it, but Deion Walker, we were talking about it earlier, Berrien Brown, he jumps off the tape. They got some guys that jump off the tape to you, and they're just not available. So coming in, they're kind of limping into this thing, much like what Florida was doing. They're kind of limping into this thing, but we can't overlook it. I think what we have in our favor that nobody's talking about is drum roll senior night.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I'm like, you got to come out swinging.
You guys know, like I know, it's hard to. As much as we want to get back and put the Aggies back in their place, back where they should be in the shadows, in our shadow. As much as we're excited to do that. The seniors, this is all about them. Yeah. This whole week of practice is about them. Even scout team is about them. Celebrating a different senior throughout different drills throughout the week. This is one of those rare times where practice is fun. Yeah. It's competitive, you're focused, but it's fun because you are literally giving these guys their flowers as they understand that win, lose, or draw, this is the last time you're running out of DKR in the regular season, right? So you want to make it all about them. I think these guys are going to – the group that we got, the group of seniors that we have this year, a lot of our leaders and our captains. Mm-hmm. So these guys are going to make sure that the team is focused, and we won't make the Mike Elko mistake of looking forward to next week.
Yeah, and honestly, the players won't look too far, especially being the last time, the seniors being last time in DKR. But Sark's going to make sure this team is ready to go. Man, I keep bragging on what Sark is doing this year. You just look at just over the years, just him first getting here, starting off a little slow and then building. It's you just got to give your hats off to him. It's probably the only team that has the same head coach for the last 4 years and the same defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator. I mean, wow. Right? Yeah. Like wow. that has to be worth something, and that's why this foundation is strong. That's why we're a mature group. That's why things are happening for Texas right now and Sark's 4th year. And no, we won't look too far ahead at all. Even though it's not even, you can't even, because I don't even want to look too far ahead right now. But even after, a week from now, that game. You still got the SEC championship. You still got the playoffs. You got a lot of football. We got a lot of football. So, I looking too far ahead, we're good. We're taking one day at a time.
Yeah, and I'm with you. If we could that could be the storyline this whole season. We could have always looked ahead this whole season because we've got big games this whole season left. But going back to senior night, not luckily we have senior night. Thank God we have senior night because this is the ultimate trap game.
Yeah.
Like the style that Kentucky plays,
So
having A&M right after them, and we ain't played them in almost a decade or over a decade. This is the ultimate trap game, and thankfully we do have senior night because guess what? There's no way our team doesn't show up for Barron Sorrell. There's no way our team doesn't show up for Jade Barron, David Bender, Jake
Michael
Majors, Michael Tabb.
Yeah.
Is
Alfred
Tabb a senior?
Collins.
Is he a true senior?
Is Tab not?
I know he has another year.
I think he has another year.
Yeah, I think he has another year, so he might be redshirted.
Okay.
But Alfred Collins, all of these guys, there's no way those group of leaders let us not step up to the plate this game.
Right.
So this senior night's the equalizer, and I feel confident going into this game because of that.
Yeah. And in the initial betting odds, Texas is favored by 20.5, and the over/under set at 46.5. But as we mentioned, Kentucky has, and I think it's right. Like they need to be respected. Yeah, their record doesn't truly show who they are. I don't think, but they beat Ole Miss, which is a huge deal now, and had 1-score losses to UGA and Vandy, and obviously those are teams that we matched up against as well. So I think, definitely something we don't want to overlook. I know we were passing around on text the high praise from Stoops on Sark and the Horns. He said, there's no weakness on this team. Stoops said, the eye test, they're as strong as anybody in the country. Tell me one group. You look at them offensively, dynamic play caller and a great coach. O-line is completely solid. Running backs, 2 great ones, maybe probably more, probably 4. You know what I mean? So, he's definitely hamming it up, and just like, we're just happy to be here, kind of talk.
They
But
got a game plan. I'm sure they have.
listen,
All right.
And I'll say this too: this has been a weird season for opposing coaches, like sound bites for us. Like coaches have been off the rails in these press conferences. Like if you go back to, I want to say, the Louisiana Monroe game, or what team do we play from Louisiana? Is that
Louisiana
he had
Monroe.
their coach had some crazy statements saying, "Oh, they'll probably underestimate us, or we got some guys at the high school level that beat Arch." It was crazy, and then you got Kirby Smart blowing smoke up.
Yeah, bro.
You know what? And now Mark Stoops.
I wish there was. There should be a fine. There should be a fine associated with that BS. We're not hearing none of that.
Yeah.
You are not going to lure us to sleep. There will be no soft tackles that come Saturday because we were friends in the press conference.
Right.
That don't exist, man. Look, I would appreciate it if he gave me the other side of it. Like, we're going to come in here and try to punch him in the mouth.
Yeah.
We got a couple trick plays we've been working on. We hope they overlook us. Be
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all of this, they got pros all up and down. They replace pros with that's why we number 3 in the country.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
there's no way that's what's being said in that locker room.
Well, he's talking like they shouldn't even suit up.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And we get it. We're
be
ball
so
players.
mad at
He's
my
trying to
coach.
fire him up.
If I happen to be in the dining hall at Kentucky and I just happen to look up on the TV as I'm eating my mashed potatoes and steak, and I say, turn that up real quick. And you turn it up and you hear Coach Stoops up there talking about all the great talent Texas has, and we just, man, you don't want your leader feeling that way. You don't even want your leader saying those
But
kind
he's
of
doing
things.
his job because he's trying to piss off his guys. He's trying to get his guys excited to be like, oh, wait, what? I belong here. And so I see what he's doing, and I think Kirby Smart did the same thing where he's like, this Texas team is
Yeah, but the way Kirby
unstoppable.
said it, Kirby had a little underlying smirk.
Oh yeah.
Where his was almost like, it was more of a mind game than anything else.
100%.
As to where this feels like, spare me.
Yeah.
And I'm
It feels
just
like they're laying down before the game even starts, which we know they're not. But it was just, the comments were weird.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. Let's start. We kind of started that last time with the defense to give them props, and obviously we want to keep doing that. But I actually think the true key matchup of this game is the Texas offense against the Kentucky defense, because Kentucky's strong suit is their defense. They have Deion Walker, who's one of the best players in the entire country.
Out of
He'll
this
be a
world.
top 15
Kid
draft.
is out of this
Kid
world.
is a 350-pound mass there, and that kid will be a stud in the NFL. And they allow 20.8 points a game, which is number 26 in the country, 328 yards a game, number 26 in the country, and 138 rushing yards, which is number 50, and passing yards 190, which is number 26 in the country.
And if you
they're up
watch
there.
the tape, the reason that those numbers are even where they're at, it's not because people are just running up and down the field on them. It's just because the defense is on the field all game.
Yeah.
ultimately, you're going to give up some plays if you're playing the whole game. Their defense is just on the field a lot. But don't get it twisted. Don't hear those numbers and think like, oh, we're just gonna. Yeah, you're gonna make you earn that.
No, and their red zone defense is number 9 in the nation. Like they make you work for it to score.
That's how they keep games close.
100%. It's a bend but don't break.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also, other guys to watch. They have J.J. Weaver's their team leader in sacks. Their linebacker, he has 24 tackles, 5 sacks. They have Jordan Lovett and J.Q. Hardaway at defensive back, and they each have 2 interceptions as the team leader. And Jamon Dumas Johnson has 54 tackles, and he's the team leader there with 3.5 sacks and 1 interception. Their defense can go, but I do think that's going to be the key of the game. The key to this game is how does our offense attack that, because I know we all feel a lot better about the defensive side of the ball now, especially after the last couple performances. But I also think our offense isn't broken. And I think people have written this offense off now all of a sudden like they're inept and they can't do anything, and it's and I think it's completely false.
And that's why if you're a player in their locker room, that's why you don't pay attention to the media.
Yeah,
because you go out there and put out a 20-point performance on the road, and then they say, oh, that offense is broken.
Yep.
Right? I'm like, oh, okay, a double-digit win on the road and that offense is broken.
Yep.
Right? Sure, because the week before you almost could have scored 100.
Yep.
If you wanted to,
Yep.
and they were just singing your praises. So that's the up and down. The fans are gonna do what the fans are gonna do. They're doing their job.
Yeah,
it's your job to show up and make sure that when Kentucky leaves that field after 60 minutes, they know they just played Texas.
Yeah,
but Kentucky's defense actually gives their team energy. That's like when they create big plays or create turnovers. That's how they're in the game at the end of the day. Like when they beat Ole Miss, when they went to Ole Miss, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
But their defense got the energy going. They made big plays, and then the offense was like, okay, we can do this. Let's maybe make throw a ball up and get some 50-50 balls, and they got some good athletes over there as well, but the defense gets it started. They throw the first punch usually and keeps that team close when it comes to the end of the game. So our key is to defense. Their defense, come at them early and often, test them over the top. We're gonna have plenty of chances. Hopefully, I heard Moore was kind of gimped up a little bit.
And Blue,
so you get guys like Wingo, and we got. It's almost like whoever's down. It's like, man, we got some more guys to help.
Well, the anemic and just struggling horrible offense that we have is averaging 37 points a game, which is number 11 in the country.
Right.
We are averaging 450 yards a game, number 11 in the country, 161 yards rushing a game, number 59 in the country, and 288 yards passing a game, number 11 in the country.
And when I think
we're doing okay,
right? And when I think
people lost that perspective,
and they will, right?
Yeah.
And they'll gain the perspective when you go out and have a great performance, and then they'll lose it again the next week.
Yeah.
That's just what happens. But when you look at what's actually being put on tape, you go back and look early in the season when a healthy Kentucky team took on South Carolina, right? And you looked at what South Carolina did to them. They bowled up and they just played physical with them. And that whole first half, you didn't know which direction that game was going to go. I want to say it was like 10-6 going into the half. And then guess what? It ended up being 31-6. That was the final. South Carolina just kept hammering. And then the explosive started happening over the top. Kentucky couldn't keep up. And at the end, they folded, right? That defense had them. It's 10-6 at half. 31-6 final. You know what I'm saying? So like that might be what kind of game it is. Just stay with it.
Yeah.
Just keep what they say. Keep chopping wood.
Yeah. But I don't honestly. I think we'll. This is not going to be close at all.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not doing prediction right now. I don't think it'll be close at all.
I don't think it will either.
Yeah, I just think what we possess on offensively and defensively, we're gonna roll. If we start early. It's gonna be like numbers like a couple weeks ago.
Florida?
Yep.
Oh,
I hope so.
And I'll say too, with the type of game we're about to play with Kentucky, we've mentioned physicality throughout this whole podcast. I like where we're at. I like where we're trending just because we played a physical Arkansas team last week. Like their D-line is as physical as it gets.
Yeah.
Not saying it's the best D-line, but it's a very physical bunch. And we were able to neutralize them for 3 quarters. First quarter, a little choppy, but we was able to, neutralize them the rest of the game. So I like where we're trending. I'm with DJ. Factor in senior night. Factor in the big win we got against Arkansas last week. I don't think this one is close, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, before we cover the defense, we're going to head to a commercial break. And when we come back, we will get into this discussion about the defense, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Third and Longhorn. We are previewing number 3 Texas against Kentucky, and we're about to preview the Texas defense versus the Kentucky offense. And I know we covered something on the post-game show that I think it's pretty. I think it's mind-blowing to a lot of people, and I don't think most of the Texas fans have accepted it, that this is a defensive team. And I think we have been so conditioned and programmed. We have the best play caller in the nation. We have an incredible offense. I'm not selling the offense short, but our defense is amazing. Yeah. And they have played like it. To take that Arkansas team that is one of the – I mean, they're right up there with us in offense.
Yep.
They had 10 points.
Yeah.
10 points to them.
I still can't get over the fact that before their touchdown scoring drive at the end of the third quarter, 75-yard drive, before that drive, they had 68 yards of offense.
It was crazy. They didn't score till I think it was 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. That was their first touchdown. Like that, this defense came to play.
Yeah, facts. What they say, defense travels.
Yep.
Defense travels.
And we mentioned there's Kentucky does have some guys coming in banged up. Once again, we don't have the injury report, it being Tuesday. They had Barian Brown was out last game. Deion Walker was out last game. A lot of their key guys, even Brock Vandegrift, their quarterback coming in, had a concussion, I believe, going into that game. But he played the first half, and then they had their backup play the second half. So we'll see what happens. Now, this offense, I wouldn't say they're good, but they're tough. And I think it's what we've been talking about. Kentucky's tough. And like Vandegrift is not going to wow you as a quarterback, but he's I believe he transferred from Georgia. He is a big guy that has a little bit of, he's not the runner Pavia is, but when he runs hard and kind of is a bigger guy. But there's nothing about this offense that's going to blow you away. They have a good running game, and then they have a couple very good receivers. Like Barian Brown is a stud receiver. Yeah. He will be an NFL prospect. And I think Dane Key, who's their top wide receiver, is also a stud. He's the guy they go to when they need a big kind of possession catch, and then Barian's the guy that they try to take the top off the defense with. Dane Key has 44 catches for 686 yards and 2 touchdowns. Barian's at 26 catches for 307 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like I said, Vandegrift, 122 of 211 for 1,542 yards, 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. This team they do throw interceptions, and they have 17 fumbles this year, but only 4 have been turnovers. So they get the ball back. But
listen, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. If you're trying to tell me that because you've been fortunate to get back 13 of the 17 fumbles, you think that's going to be a winning formula?
It's going to catch up with you.
It's going to catch up.
Oh, this team's going to be punching. Yeah. Texas is going to be punching.
Yeah. And this is what Texas does defensively: create turnovers, create negative plays, and this is a perfect opportunity on senior night at DKR to just clobber them, man. I just can't see us letting them hang around at all. This offense is not exciting at all. I mean, it's a pro-style offense. It's not like
DJ gets bulletin board material of the week.
I've never heard DJ talk like this on
DJ is not impressed with this offense.
So
let me tell you, they get better when their defense does good, and they gives them more possessions, and they give their offense I guess some energy because they know that the defense is balling out, so they get going a little bit. But most of the time, it's hit or miss with this offense, and they have a two quarterback system. Actually, they have this other guy, Wimsack. He comes in and does a kind of wildcat. Yeah, just to give him a little energy or whatnot. But he hadn't done much when it comes to passing the ball, so you'll just fill up the box. But they're going against the best defense in the nation. Like, we create turnovers, we create big plays, get them in 3rd and long, and this defense, I mean, it's 20? I think we have 27 sacks. 27 sacks, 13 different guys have a sack. So that tells you the depth we have in this group. 27 sacks, and then 15. I mean, we're leading the SEC in the country in turnover with 15 of them. So this will be just a regular, what I'm trying to say. This would be a regular
routine kind of
This would be a routine. That's what it is. It's going to be a routine act that we're going to come out and just dominate, man.
So you don't give Kentucky's a puncher's chance.
No.
You don't think they come in here ready to fight because they want to turn their games into fights. Mm-hmm. That's what they want to turn the game into. I bet they relished in that Georgia game.
Yeah,
that's the game they want to play.
Yeah,
like if they get the opportunity to grind that clock out, make this just a.
They are a scrappy. They are a scrappy bunch. They are a scrappy bunch. But I just can't. Texas is going to be way too much for them.
Yeah, and I'm with DJ. We know the game plan for Kentucky, and they've made a lot of ugly games by controlling that clock, grinding out the ball, all of that. For me, it's that stat that Nick just gave about the fumbles. Yeah. Like, if you watch our defensive tape, we are punching at the ball. So, I mean, knowing these numbers, I couldn't predict a forced fumble this game. And if Kentucky starts turning over the football, it's going to get ugly for them.
If they lose in a possession control type of offense, losing a possession could be critical.
Right.
So I agree with you.
And I'm with you. We are punching at the football. Last week, Alfred Collins, forced fumble. Week before that, Ant Hill, forced fumble. Week before that, Michael Taft, forced fumble. And it's not no fluky stuff. We are punching at the football. So we're going to force a turnover against Kentucky. And if they lose possessions, it's going to get ugly for them. Also, their personnel, I like Barry and Brown. He's not better than who we saw last week. I like their running back, Wilcox. He's not better than who we saw last week. Yep. Their quarterback is bottom of the totem pole in terms of guys that we've played this season.
Hills doesn't even have to do the bulletin board segment this week. You got it.
And I got it, man. And I don't want to give out bulletin board material, but there has to be a time there's a point in the season where we are who we are. Yeah. And we play to that standard each and every week. And that point has come for us. And the way we play the game, Kentucky should not have a puncher's chance in this game.
Yeah, and I agree when you talk about turnovers at the end of the day. Like, we are making a conscious effort to actually going at the ball. That to me, being a defensive guy, that's what it's all about. That ball, that's the baby. Like, you got to get that ball, and it's the most precious thing to an offense. If you can grab that ball and get it back for extra possessions for an offense that Sark is running with Quinn behind it, we're going to look good this year. This week.
The one time that two defensive guys see a below average offense.
Oh, we start
beaming. And they just start getting. Do you hear them?
We start salivating.
Blood in the water.
They start getting borderline disrespectful. This guy
They've been
said,
so well behaved.
He is, though. Jay's the most disrespectful.
This guy says, I don't give him a puncher's chance. The other guy says quarterback is the bottom of the totem. Goodness gracious.
Brock Vandegrift's at home, just replaying that one.
I will say this. Our offense needs to play another clean game. If the offense turns the football over, then it's what I'm saying goes out the window.
Different game.
Goes out the window.
That is true.
I'm just speaking from a defensive perspective. Right?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I do really like they have, like you mentioned, DJ. They have two main running backs, and I will completely butcher this kid's name. I apologize. Demi Sumo Kongbe. He's 109 carries for 505 yards. He averages 4.6 a carry and 5 touchdowns. And then Jamarian Wilcox is my favorite. I think he's a stud. 69 carries, 474 yards, averaging just under 7 yards and 2 touchdowns. And they have a pretty good offensive tackle, Marcus Cox, out there too. But like I said, they're kind of they go how their running game goes, really, and then they'll get a few plays off the top, and that's really what they rely on. And it's a tough offense, and they're tough, but also it's kind of tough to watch.
No, it's not. It's what they say, 3 yards to the cloud of dust, man. It is not an exciting offense but like that's a part of the strength of it.
That is
we want to make this a short football game.
Yeah.
This is a short, grimy, nasty, physical football game. So I mean, it all plays into what they want to do.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and flip over to the special teams here, which I know everyone's very excited about.
Yeah,
and I don't mean to make you guys recant your statement, but this is probably the scariest part of the game for us. Okay. And it's nothing against Bert, but Alex Rayner is probably the best kicker we've played all year. He has set the record for consecutive field goals.
Are you saying he's better than Burt?
I said we played all year.
Oh, no, I was just asking.
We didn't play Burt.
Okay.
So I would never say that. I would never.
Never go against your guy.
No, man.
Okay.
He's going to get the edge no matter what. Yeah. So, but Alex Rayner, he has missed an extra point, so he's not perfect. He's 22 of 23 on extra points on the year and 15 of 15 on field goals with 67 total points. He, like I mentioned, he broke Kentucky's record for consecutive field goals. He's big time. Burt, 48 of 48 on extra points, my man. 8 of 11 now on field goals after the last. It's 2 for 2 last game. Long of 45, and he has 72 points. So obviously he gets the edge. He's better. We all know that anyway.
Got it.
We know how this segment ends.
Yep.
It's it is what it is. But Kentucky also has they've had different punters all year. But they've settled on this guy, I believe, Aiden Laros. So don't quote me on this, but he has 21 punts for 45 yards, long of 61, and 7 inside the 20. He's done really well. Kern's total's going up. He obviously had 6 punts last week. We had the most we punted, I believe, all year, and he's averaging 40 yards a punt with a long of 52, and he has 7 inside the 20. So obviously, as always, we give the special teams edge to Texas. But, I think I want to cover now. I think we want to start doing this segment. Obviously, we're third in Longhorn to do a segment called the 3 Keys to Victory for Texas. And so I'm going to turn it over to you guys to do that. And, Oak, I'll start with you on what your 3 keys are. Yeah. Or what your 1 key is out of the 3.
Yeah, so my first key is defensively. We got to get stops and we got to get off the field. It's kind of like the same game script kind of as the Vandy game. We know what they're coming in wanting to do. They want to come in and control the clock. The way our defense can allow them to control the clock is picking up short 3rd or 4th downs, and we can't do that. So that starts with a negative on first down, a TFL or a no gain on first down. That first down defensively is going to be huge for this game. So we have to get stops. We got to get off the field. No leaky yardage. And then on top of that, if we can force 1 or 2 turnovers, it's really going to start playing into our hands. Yeah. So to me, that's the first key.
DJ, what do you have for key 2?
Yeah, key 2 would have to be just starting fast, knowing what we possess on the offense side of the ball. Sark has all the plays you can want. I mean, we can dream up something. He has it in the playbook. Just being able to start fast, knowing that our defense is good. I'm just telling you, it's just we got that down consistently. We've been playing really good defense every week, so that's going to be on offensively. Getting out there, starting fast, maybe a deep ball or 2, running the ball, just being efficient all over the board. Not a perfect game. It's never going to be a perfect game, but just want to let our fans and everybody know how good we are, or remind everybody how good we are.
Yeah. And Hills, what do you have for key 3?
It's kind of like a half and half for me. I think make them earn it. Like, make them earn it.
Nothing easy.
Don't give them nothing. Don't give them like a – when you're playing a team that you're better than, you can get a little lax in your technique. You can get you seen it. I don't know if you guys watched the Colorado-Utah game last week. Travis Hunter just fell asleep on a play. Ended up being a 60-something yard touchdown. He literally just fell asleep on the play. And we know that kid might be the best player in America. We know that is not his standard.
Yeah.
But he let that be his standard for that play in that game.
Yeah.
Don't give them nothing like that. Make them earn it. And then secondly, and it rolls into like what I still think is make them earn it, killer instinct. I've been wanting to see this for a long time. When you got your foot on their neck, press. Put them away. Don't give them no hope at all. But I've always said this. The thing that I admired most about the Nick Saban Bama run was the fact that like teams showed up with no hope and Bama confirmed it. Like they didn't let guys. They didn't. You didn't come in there and get a lucky tip pick. You didn't come in there and get a kickoff return for a touchdown. They showed up solid. They showed up coached well. They showed up athletic, strong, and determined that game for that day, and they put them away.
Yeah.
Like that's teams showed up and left feeling the same way. Yeah, I think we had a chance in that one, and I want to see that from us.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to see. Make them earn it. Put them away.
I do want to give some props out to Alfred Collins and DJ Barron. Man, those 2 guys they on a money trip right now. They making some money, man. I'm telling you.
Alfred
making some money,
cool,
dog.
It's cool to see AC play at a level that we always knew his talent would allow him to play at.
You said it.
Like his ceiling was always so high. Think about when he was introduced to us.
So high. It's been
He was introduced to us by a one-handed interception in a bowl game.
Yeah, we're like, oh, we got one.
And then, he's a basketball player,
right?
And he kind of grew into his body. Finally, his mom was a big-time basketball player at Texas. So yeah.
So to see that, but then I can talk about that young kid today all day long. Like I'm actually like more than anything personally, I want to see him get another turnover this game. You know what I mean?
And what's fascinating about that, he being able to be a nickel and maybe a kind of a safety guy from last year, playing corner. I mean, he's a corner and making plays. I think that's one of the hardest positions on the field.
Absolutely.
Played every position in the secondary.
Right.
Like GMs and scouts are going to love his take moving forward.
He's rising fast.
Going real quick.
Let's hold that thought because we gotta go back to one more commercial. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Third and Longhorn. We are previewing number 3 Texas against Kentucky. And Oak, I'll let you get right back into your thought before I so rudely interrupted you about Alfred Collins.
Yeah, so I just want to go into my Alfred Collins spiel for a little bit. I spoke on Jade Barron on the post-game show a little bit. Alfred Collins is somebody I'm close to as well, both local guys. The thing about Alfred Collins for me is that kind of like DJ and Jay said, like the noise of him not developing, the noise of him not reaching his ceiling was loud. Now that he's the player that he's supposed to be or exceeded that, I need the praises to be just as loud for Alfred Collins, man. And that's the truth. It was hard. Alfred Collins' journey was kind of hard to watch just because if you know him, he's a quiet kid, got all the confidence within himself, but just doesn't verbalize it. So seeing him not develop, seeing him not make the plays that you know he's capable of, it was a tough watch because you know his demeanor, and it almost felt like he lost his confidence throughout his journey. Yeah, it's been fun to see him get that back and turn into a straight dog. Like he's making some of the best plays I've seen defensively in a long time. There was like a play earlier in the season, I can't remember the game, but he took on like a triple team. Yeah, split it and made the TFL. Had over like 700 pounds of body weight on him and made the TFL. So I'm so proud of this dude. I'm proud of Jade, and these two guys are testaments to how well our defense is playing.
When you think about AC, like really just take a second, right? He pops on the scene. Dynamic recruit, legacy with his mother, right? You expect they say he has the pedigree with his first cousin, Trent Brown, who was one of the best at one point in time was the highest paid left tackle in the NFL, right? He has all the tools. He has the frame. He's making some crazy athletic plays for any edge or a 3. It don't matter. Like, position it how you want. That play is insane. And then you don't see him just blow up immediately the way you expect. Instead, what you honestly see is the formation and this growth of Sweat. T Sweat, because them two came up together. And then T Sweat becomes what you thought AC was going to become, which is this dominating middle force. Right? And Alfred Collins still fighting for playing time, fighting to be on the field consistently, making splash plays here and there, but nothing just consistent, not a resume that you would want to turn into the NFL. Not yet.
Not yet, right?
And now you watch him this year, you're seeing the consistency in his play, which is what had been challenged up to this point. You're seeing this dog and you're seeing the talent on top of that. And I'm like, hey, turn that resume. That's the one you want to turn in. So I think like for all of us that really get opportunity to meet and know these young men and then see their journeys and see them progress, you can't help but like cheer for this kid because you've seen him go through the ups and downs. And like we always say, the game gonna test you. He's been tested and approved.
That's good.
Well, and I honestly think we should spend a little more time on this and talking about this senior class. Like, this senior class has been through so much, especially guys like David Benda who've been there they've been in this program for a long time. And to see the work they've put in, I mean, the stuff they've seen over these years of where this program was.
And this class is Herman's class, correct?
I believe so.
So to actually have a new regime come in and buy in, because I've been a part of some teams in the league that you have new regime comes in and you have to buy in, you have to get used to a lot of new stuff. It's hard to do, right? Even if it's good or bad, it's hard to do. But these guys have been a testament to just true will and true buy-in, saying, hey, we believe in what Sark is building and this culture is strong. because of those guys, even though they're not Sark guys, they are Sark guys.
And you think about talking to Jay Ford last year. He was excited and not jealous, but he was like, dang. Because he knew what this year was going to look like.
Yeah.
Right?
That is true. Yeah.
He got a chance to, he was also a Herman guy, right?
Yeah.
He got a chance to kind of live that transformation, but have the maturity and ability to see where it's going, but knowing that was that's his bus stop. That's where he has to get off the bus, right? But when you look at this, what he's seen was the number one defense in the country is coming, right? And these guys have lived up to it. So yeah, this senior class, I can't. Man, it's tough when you get recruited by a staff and then that staff is no longer there. Your future's up in the air. You had an opportunity to leave or stay. You decide to stay. You buy into what's being sold to you. You give it everything you got. And then now you fast forward a couple of years and you're actually living out what you anticipated Texas being from the start.
Yeah.
Like these kids have earned it and they put in what they needed to get to the point they're at. Now it's time to go finish the job.
Yeah. And one more dude I want to cover real quick. I'd be remiss if I didn't cover Baron Sorrell, because we don't get to talk about him that much. And he is, coming into the season, he was the leader of this defense, at least the front seven.
Yeah.
And to have a leader like Byron Murphy leave, a guy like Tavondre Sweat leave, we didn't know what we'd be left with on the D-line. And for Baron Sorrell to admit he's the leader, claim that, and live up to the standard, and lead this defensive unit to the best in the country, and lead this D-line into one of the scariest D-lines in the nation.
The scariest.
The scariest.
I'm
absolutely.
being serious.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see us do it a little bit more, but I'm with you. I know, we got it.
After you watch that Arkansas tape, you got the nerve to say
I want
you
more.
like this.
I want more.
Yeah, and don't forget, let's not forget Vernon Broughton.
Vernon
too.
Broughton. You know how
Yeah.
much I love 45.
Yeah.
I speak on him all the time.
Well, and the guys who transferred in. I mean, you got like Bill Norton. This will be his last game too. Like I think it is, but I think that class, especially that Herman class, these guys sticking around, helping turn this thing around, and not only that, but not giving up, not transferring, not jumping to wherever it was. Also, and a lot of these guys have been almost going pro or almost good enough, or hey, almost good enough to play but haven't played, and now they're getting their moment, and it's great to see, and you see it pay off for these kids that really bought in.
I want you.
Yeah. How was y'all's senior? I guess you'll go last, or maybe first.
I should say. Let's go. I don't want to talk about it.
It was dark. It was dark. No,
it wasn't.
My senior night was tough because that's when my football career ended. I broke my leg and ripped my ankle real bad.
Man, I still remember that play.
Yeah, I tell people I went out like a real gladiator in the end zone with 115 screaming.
You limped off though.
Oh yeah, because
broke leg.
adrenaline. Man, listen, if you ain't dead, ain't no land on the field.
Come on, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, and I didn't know it was messed up until I got to the sideline and they called the team doctor over. Man, he ran a test on me and it was like Tom and Jerry. Like you jump, your eyes stay where they.
They're like, don't look at it. Don't look at it.
Yeah, it was a bad situation. But I literally left blood, sweat, and tears out on DKR. Right. Yeah. But for me personally, that ultimately ended up closing one chapter and then opened a chapter that I never thought was available to me. So I can do nothing but be excited as we talk about collective and where it's headed. I'm saying
well played.
There's a lot to be happy about.
He's like, don't forget Hill's Kitchen, Reserve.
I'll let Jay make it in terms of plugging in some ads because he tied it into his senior night, and it was an epic senior night. I was with Jay. Me and Jay, we had the same senior night, and I remember him going down, and I felt for him because Jay was there in the program for about 10 years. No, in all seriousness, though, you got to see the work that Jay put in day after day throughout his playing career. And his senior year was when it all came together, and he had the opportunity to go out there and put it on tape. And he was doing that, man. He was doing that, and we had a lot of fun together. And to see him go down on that last night was hard to watch because it was a serious injury. Yeah. You could barely get off the field.
Yeah,
so
that was tough.
And you were playing well that game.
Yeah,
too.
I was doing my thing. Huh?
I know, man. So that was my senior night as well. But I just want to give Jay his props on that because I felt for him that night, and it was tough. Yeah.
What about you, DJ?
Oh, me? Okay. Yeah. Senior night, 20 years ago today. Man, I just remember going out, being able to hug my family. hug my mom, being able to know that she sent a young man, a young boy to school and came out a young man. That was pretty cool. That was like almost like mama made it type of moment. Knowing that I was projected to go high in the draft and win some awards and whatnot. But something else that was special on that night, senior night, was Tommy Nobis wore number 60, and usually really, really good linebackers or great linebackers here were number 60, like their time here at UT, and I didn't. I wore number 11, but my last game, I wore number 60 to celebrate Tommy Nobis. Yeah, and you know, I didn't know that. I know, yeah, I got see some pics. Yeah, I know, I got to bring some pictures, but it's it looked a little bigger on me just because it's 60. You know, it didn't look. Yeah,
I think I actually do remember seeing it was you and Fives.
Yep.
Y'all were. Fozzy had on that. Fozzy had on that 46. You had on that 60. Y'all was back to back, right?
No, but I wore 60. Had a great game. Played against the Aggies. We won and whatnot, and it was cool. It was a time that I always remember. So yeah.
I was gonna say, no offense, Tommy Nobis, but 60 is a nasty.
Yeah, it is.
Let me tell you something.
You know, there's something's off.
I'm telling you right now, as a running back, you break the huddle and you look up and you see a 60 standing there with a neck roll. I know he got a neck roll.
Yeah.
No tape. No tape, just bare.
No tape, you know what I mean? Spitting out a dip. It's like,
yeah, I would assume that the A gap is closed.
Yeah.
Closed for
right.
The A gap is under construction. Do not go down the A gap. All right.
Well, we got to get into it. We got to get into the predictions. I'll remind y'all that Texas is favored by 20.5 points, and the over/unders at 46.5. I'm gonna let Oak go first since I was accused of cheating last week by Jeremy Hills. And Oak, you got first pick.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. The Vegas spread, it's a little head scratcher to me. But
what did you expect it to be?
I mean, I know the style that Kentucky plays. I just think we're a bad matchup for them. I really do.
That's right.
I'm going. I don't think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be 42-10, and that's where I'm putting it. Just because I think we're going to force some turnovers.
All right.
Yeah, I would say 40-10. I was right there. I mean, we're thinking alike. Texas is going to roll. They're going to be ready for senior night.
I'm going 38-6 Texas.
That's a bigger point spread than what we said.
Yeah,
you were saying, wow.
So the way I see it playing out, I'm just saying. All right, so Texas is going to come out with all the energy.
Picture this.
DKR is going to be like rocking.
Yeah.
All right. What time is kickoff?
2:30.
Yeah. So, you know, it's going to feel it's football weather.
Yeah.
The sun is out. It's 72 degrees. No chance of rain. It's feeling good out there. It's gonna be a Texas football game, right? We get up early, 2-3 scores. Everybody's rocking and rolling. You know, Kentucky's gonna fight back. I think they are going to fight back. They're gonna get a tutty, and it's gonna wake us up again because we went to sleep thinking that they just were gonna lay down the whole game. So it's 21-7, and then as the game continues to go on, it gets worse. It just gets worse. And then that second unit comes in. And we haven't seen Arch in a while. Right? It's about late third right now. It's already 34-6, 34-7. There's really no need for those guys to be out there anymore. We got to get ready for next week. Then you put Arch in, and Arch coming in with something to prove, okay? Arch ain't been on the field in a while. He's in front of DKR for the last time this year in the regular season. Arch puts up 2 more touchdowns before the end of the game. You look up, all of a sudden,
42-10?
42-7. It's 42-7. 42-7, good guys. As we roll out of here, healthy and ready to go to College Station to own our little brothers.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I confirm. I second that.
Yep.
All right. Has anybody else got anything to add before we head out of here?
If it plays out just like that, I'm playing a lot.
We're gonna have it set to your narration.
All I will say, this is under the contingency that the offense plays a clean game.
Yeah. That's fair.
That's the only wrench that I can see getting tossed into this game script. So
that's fair. Well, we want to hear from you guys. Drop your score predictions in there. Hills will buy you something. We'll figure out what it is if you get it right. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, post about us on social media. We really appreciate it. Spread the word, and we will see y'all after the game for the post-game show. Hook 'em.